In almost divine timing and intervention, we'll be covering the major movie news of Zack Snyder's Justice League cut, which is now official on HBO Max. Along with that, we'll be going over a few movie calendar updates sprinkled in here and there. All that and more on the Commander Shipp Show, starting now. Hey everyone, it's Commander Shipp here with the amazing Tom DeGrow. We got another awesome show for you this week. How you doing, Tom?
I'm excited because tomorrow, Wednesday the 27th, is going to be the first human launch or crewed launch into space from U.S. soil in nearly 10 years. So SpaceX Dragon Crew is on its Demo 2 mission. It launched an empty one about a year ago and spent like a couple of months actually in space and came down safely. And now part 2 is happening. So with 2 crew members on board, so that'll be happening 3 Central on Wednesday the 27th. I will be watching that.
Give it a look.
Screaming at the screen.
Awesome moment for space travel, especially going into the future. Yeah.
Yes.
Speaking of the future is ever shifting.
The future.
We've been giving you. It is a
flux.
King Kong vs. Godzilla may get pushed to throw down in the movie summer releases, and my inner child is a little distressed. For those that don't know,
yes.
King Kong vs. Godzilla was supposed to release in November. Well, actually, let me back up. Even before Corona, it was supposed to come in summer of this year. It got pushed into November after shaky Kings of Monsters release back into the summer, taking over a May 21st release date that was previously where Matrix 4 was supposed to be released. You remember last week we told you Tenet may be getting pushed off its July date with all the coronavirus issues, which may in turn affect Wonder Woman. Again, these have all been Warner Brothers properties, so again, they're trying to maximize the theatrical runs of these films and how much potential dollars they'll get back from having been on a very long hiatus. Matrix 4 production was disrupted by the coronavirus, so it makes it one of the likelier candidates to get moved from its summer date. Tom, your thoughts?
Corona does suck and I was kind of excited to see King Kong versus Godzilla to see what they do, their take, etc. And I was hoping that it would happen. Actually, not May. I was actually hoping for a February release. I like that sweet spot because you just end up with Chinese New Year. You got Jack until Easter, so. Movies it is.
For 2021, maybe they were trying to avoid the Eternals, which ended up taking a February date. But I still don't see...
Yeah.
Like, it is a potential problem. I understand that. I just don't see the Eternals being that kind of a juggernaut. Like, it's a Marvel film. Marvel film will do well. But if you put it in February, I don't know if that's really that big of a competition. It'd be different if, Universal had put the Fast and the Furious there, We already know that's going to make a lot. So if those two, like a Marvel and a Universal film, in the same slot, I could understand wanting to avoid February like the plague.
Yeah, and I forgot the Fast and Furious is still a thing.
They were one of the first movies. We talked about that like the first and second episode this season, where they immediately jumped to 2021, and we're like, really? That seems excessive. And you've already committed a lot of money into marketing and lead up to the summer, even more so than like Wonder Woman had at that point. It was like Black Widow and Fast and the Furious, or Wonder Woman, Black Widow, Fast and the Furious, and Bond were like the 3 movies that had definitely put money in towards these are coming out soon. We got to crank it. Oh crap.
Yeah. Fast and the Furious. I'm making this statement now. I'm gonna get hate mail for it. It's the Sharknado of car movies.
It is.
Yeah, I know. Making the stand.
I describe it as a dumbed down Avengers with cars, because they survive things they should
that's
not.
good too.
Like the things they're able to pull off And they've been kind of goofing around saying like, "What's next? Space?" I'm like, it wouldn't surprise me because that was the next place the Avengers went to. So if you're following that, that tent pole.
Oh man. So do you think they'll have a modded Honda Civic burst out of the IIS
Got to.
or ISS,
Classic.
or
Probably easier to render on screen too.
Jeff Bezos has a Bugatti Veyron in orbit, and we're gonna steal it.
I know one note we didn't put on here, and I know it's gonna make you mad, but the Elon Musk, Tom Cruise rumors of going into space for filming have gotten stronger, not weaker, recently. So that is legit conversation. It's like I thought it was just like, oh, Tom Cruise is talking about something he would want. It's like apparently other people want it too.
I mean, Space Karen is never going to miss an opportunity to take advantage of some free publicity from Tom Cruise wanting to do a movie. So I mean, think about all the publicity he did talking to, like, renaming his landing pier, the landing struts S-foils on the Falcon 9. So yeah.
Well, we have one more movie calendar update. Edgar Wright was having
yes.
a new psychological thriller called Last Night in Soho, co-written with Krysty Wilson-Cairns. She's slowly becoming one of my favorites because she helped also write the script for 1917. And you remember from a couple weeks ago, she's also helping on the new Star Wars shows with Taika Waititi, potentially Lisa Headland's new show that again rumored Rosario Dawson. So, we'll get to that.
Yes.
But yes, Edgar Wright, such a psychological thriller, was much of 180 from the comedy stuff he's been known for and been a part of with the with Simon Pegg and Nick Frost. I was very, very curious to see it, but again, we won't get to see that until next year.
I will say this, is that it is always easier for comedians to do serious.
Yes, definitely true.
Than the other way around. That's why Tom Cruise isn't funny.
I'm digging into some of the actors, some of the cast and crew on this, but the ones that stood out to me, Anna Taylor-Joy, who we've been wanting to see in the New Mutants, hopefully finally getting out sometime. Matt Smith, one of the previous Doctors. Terrence Stamp, of all people. So,
yes.
What? Terrence Stamp is in this movie.
So I'll talk about this a little bit when we get into our main subject further on. So stay tuned for that. But in preparation for Justice League, Brie and I also watched 1978 Superman, and how good Terrence Stamp is as Zod. Like, Michael Shannon was great as Zod, but damn, Terrence Stamp.
Because just imagine
that man
with some better production values for the fights, and then it's amazing. Because sorry, words.
Yeah, but just anything with Terrence Stamp in it, that man has gravitas, and he delivers every single time.
Yeah, man, he was so underutilized in Phantom Menace.
Oh,
you forgot he was in that, didn't you?
Yes. Yeah. I try and forget that movie, but
another movie I try to forget, Suicide Squad. And with all the Snyder Cut news and all the positive energy that's coming up, David Ayer is also joining on the petition bandwagon to hopefully get his film a director's cut. And I don't know if it would make that much of a difference, but more power to you, David.
It won't, but here's the thing. Like, I don't like it. I don't care. We've seen the evidence of Zack Snyder's previous work, so we know it's not going to be that great. It's not going to be a huge improvement. But, and I'll rant more about that in a minute, but nobody cares about Suicide Squad. Like, the only reason that people are all up in arms about the Snyder Cut is because there's a ton, unfortunately, of Frank Miller Batman fanboys,
which is
and
problematic for a ton of
that's
reasons.
yes, but that is the main driver behind. I think behind all the buzz.
Need something other than Frank Miller. Goodness, children.
Yes.
It's not that. At least Dark Knight Returns. It's not that that's awful. There's I could point some problems in it, but it's not that that's awful. It's like, but it definitely goes off the rails and like Strikes Back and a whole variety of the weirdness that was already there. He just doubles down on it. Yeah.
See, in this one, he actually becomes a Batman.
All right, but David, one thing I will say though, the immediate production David Ayer did after that with Bright, Will Smith, Joel Edgerton, it's actually not that bad. Like there's definitely some mediocre things about it, but I don't think it was really that bad. They set up a really cool universe of how magical creatures and humans are coexisting for better or worse. And some of the mythology pieces in that were a little messy, right? So definitely, if someone kind of went back in and kind of repolished that, it'd be a lot better. But hey, it was a Max Landis script.
Yeah.
I don't think it was necessarily his fault. Maybe some things that could have been. Again, I think execution would have really cleaned that up a lot. And part 2 Bright 2 is still on the production schedule or coming out in some. Whenever Netflix gives us the update, we'll see when they do that. So if he wants to do a director's cut of his, maybe that would fix some overall issues with Suicide Squad. But if it turns out it's really the script for Suicide Squad, then I don't think Ayer can fix that. Because I lean towards him causing more of the problems with a Max Landis script than I would with Max Landis' script. It's like what are the chances that Landis did a good script but Ayer messed it up? I think that's more likely what happened. So, love for you to prove me wrong, David. So, good luck to you if that happens. Yeah.
Yeah. Good luck at the green light, and then good luck at the effort.
We have to put out a PSA. Kids, I can't believe I have to tell you this, but don't let a spider intentionally bite you, especially if they aren't radioactive. There was a young Spider-Man fan who got hospitalized after letting a Black Widow bite them in hopes of getting superpowers. That's been every child's dream at some point. I mean, probably not the terrifying bite, but hey, who wouldn't want to be Spider-Man, have superhuman strength and amazing agility and spider sense, and we'll forget the silk sacks on your hands and just go traditional web shooters. But
I want the silk sacks, damn it.
No silk sacks. And why would it come from your hands? That's a whole nother.
You know why? I mean, censors wouldn't allow it. And for Spider-Man to wear spider chaps as opposed to his normal outfit,
it'd be pretty progressive. Huh?
Actually, it might have worked. Yeah, so kids, and if you do irradiate a spider, try not to do something like a Black Widow or a brown recluse. Tarantulas have much more survivable venom.
Yeah.
Maybe try that.
So, still don't know why a bite would override your genetic DNA. That's a whole nother conversation we don't get into, but all right. But apparently the kid is recovering nicely and will be fine. But just come on, folks. There's so many other things going on right now. Don't add onto the plate. Don't add onto your plate. Let's talk a little bit of celebration before we get into the Snyder Cut conversation. Did you know this previous week was The Empire Strikes Back's 40th anniversary on May 21st?
Today is your birthday.
So I definitely wanted to shoot some things about it. We'll see if I have time this coming week. And no promises, folks. I was kind of disappointed. The Star Wars official fan account, on StarWars.com, and the social media accounts had some good fanfare on there. There are a couple different outlets that talked about their 40th anniversary and talked about some production notes from behind the scenes. not necessarily things that were never been reported, just kind of bringing them back to the forefront of like, here are some of the issues this thing has went through as it was getting produced, and the money that Lucas put forward, even more so than the in the original Star Wars. So it's very, very interesting, but I was very surprised by the lack of social media attention to this. I don't know if.
Yeah, I'm wondering if part of that is like just Disney dropping the ball. How much of this is like COVID related? Because honestly, if theaters were open right now and they didn't have like a 40th anniversary release, I would have been. But they didn't do it with New Hope.
That's true. It's true. When they got the 40.
So there's a slight possibility that Disney might be like, let's start moving on, and they're starting to produce some good stuff. At least not for the movie theater, but for television, there are, Empire has. I'll be ready to duck and put on the flame suit. Empire is now my second favorite film, or favorite Star Wars story put to motion.
There you go.
And for the record, the first is season 7 of Clone Wars.
Still need to see it, but I'm still taking your word for it. But yeah, for film, Empire is still my highest, and we'll see if Clone Wars sways me in any way. I don't know. I like it. Also, editor's note. I'm so sorry that I said Ahsoka's name wrong on the previous episode. I don't know what happened. You didn't correct me either. Like, you weren't saying it wrong, but for some reason,
no.
I put a note on the notes of like, Kenny said this wrong. You should let him know it in the comments. I apologize, folks. Don't know what was going on. Just kept coming out.
I'm not sure. I kept on saying it, hoping that you would catch it, and I wasn't about to like.
You just didn't say nothing.
Yeah, but I thought maybe you were putting your own little spin on it. I don't know what you were doing,
I was just
but.
Oh gosh. Well, folks, we are on to our main topic of news this week. Shortly after we got the podcast released last week, Wednesday morning last week, we got news that the Snyder Cut was official to be released on HBO Max in 2021 on a special fan screening of Batman vs Superman. Snyder, along with a couple other fans who had been really instrumental in organizing the campaign to get this cut released, and a surprise appearance by Henry Cavill. Snyder quickly toward the end of the broadcast, dropped a photo release that showed the official HBO Max branding, release date, Zack Snyder's Justice League, officially cementing it. And then again, the Warner Brothers media accounts and press release came out like immediately afterwards, or that morning. So it's quite a shock to the system for myself. Although it definitely comes as a sigh of relief to the Snyder fans, and particularly the Release the Snyder Cut movement.
Yep, I still am. I was wrong. I hate the fact that I was wrong, but I still hold on to the idea that this doesn't need to be made. There's no. I mean, I was speaking to fans, people who were excited about it, and the big thing that they were excited about was like, now they get to see one singular vision as opposed to having this muddied watered conversation about the two. And they're like, but now we can finally put it to rest. And I'm like, no, it was put to rest with Batman versus Superman. That Snyder doesn't know how to make a film. Yeah, this is just this is making Tom and Kenny sit through 3 hours of this stuff so that we can.
So it's like hold on a second.
True.
It might be getting longer as far as, especially from that Hollywood Reporter news release, where it could be one solid movie that's almost 4 hours, or it could be released in like episodic, more digestible, where it's like 50 minutes to an hour for each one, to kind of give you a way to pause it or break it up a little bit as you digest it. Which is not necessarily a terrible idea. If you watch the recent Hateful Eight extended edition that came out on Netflix, it's not an entire block. They broke it up in a way that you could. They used Tarantino's chapters that he made, act structure that he made in the film as a way of, hey, you could keep watching this entire thing if you want to, but there's a way to take some breaks built into it. Or it could be like kind of like The Irishman a little bit in that way. So if it goes like that, then if it's like, this is still kind of think of it as a theatrical experience, but we're just giving you some nice ways to take some pauses in it. Then if that's what they mean, cool. If it means it's a 6 hour, or an hour a piece for six pieces, that seems a little excessive to me.
God, I don't even know. Like, I can't wrap my mind around having that much footage to create that.
Again, it was reportedly 3 hours and 30 minutes long. His version of it that Warner Brothers asked him to cull down to the 2 hour mark. So I'm willing to bet there's at least about an hour of footage. And so, actually, let's talk about how we got here real quick. So, everyone knows me and Tom's thoughts on Man of Steel and Batman v Superman. Don't need to relitigate that, but even by critic standards and a lot of fan standards, those two missed the mark. There are people obviously that love those, and we'll get into how they petitioned for this in a second. But there's definitely some people that liked it, but the overall consensus was these were not good. That led to immediate changes in what happened in Suicide Squad, and then down the road, how Snyder tackled his version of the film before he had to leave to the untimely death of his daughter, and definitely. Condolences go out to the family for everything they had to go through during that time period, because that was a lot. They've been coming off of the unsuccessful Batman v Superman, rolling into Justice League and trying to make it the best that you can, and then also dealing with the death of your daughter. That's a lot. So, and I said it back then. I definitely said it right now. There was a lot of fan outpouring of support to them during that time period, and it's definitely one of the better moments we've had as a fan community. Like, so of all the vitriol that's come out across different spectrums and different issues that have happened, that was a very nice bright spot, and I'm glad to have seen that continued even to now. That said, there was a point where there was a lot of material prepared for Justice League, a lot of material shot for Justice League that Warner Brothers was simply shooting down left and right. It became very, very clear and mandated that this is not going to be as long as you originally wanted. That is not going to happen. And this is not going to be broke up into a part 1 and a part 2. Like, you're going to create one Justice League that comes out in November of 2017, and that's it. So I bring that up because I want people to understand that while it's going to be interesting to watch what Snyder makes, and there is again, I'm not doubting the claim that there's an hour and a half of content, because Hollywood Reporter backs that up. The Warner Brothers execs that went to Snyder's house about a year ago and watched that version of the film, again, didn't have all the VFX, which is what some of the current budget is going to. While it didn't have all that, it was definitely that time scale's pretty accurate. They're like, it's a long slog. So totally believe that. But the idea that there was something that he could just do a couple of VFX and release that's not completely accurate. And definitely we're getting more shots and things to kind of correct some things. We'll get to like the infamous mustache when we talk about our actual Justice League review and revisit. But there will be things that now, with Henry Cavill and the rest of the cast back on board, they can do better shots, having them together, and not having to CGI some funkiness. So when Snyder had to step away, Joss Whedon, we know, came in to do reshoots, and particularly doing reshoots to try to patch the narrative as best they could, and to achieve Warner Brothers' vision. And I want to stress fulfill Warner Brothers' vision, because if you've seen Whedon with ensemble casts, I don't understand how folks are so mad at him for what came out compared to what he's done before. It's like we've immediately forgot Firefly, Dollhouse, the Avengers films. Regardless of how you feel about the MCU and Avengers films, like, Whedon knows how to handle an ensemble cast. So for Justice League to come out like this, I've always put this more on Warner Brothers of, you brought him in way late. Again, there's again, understand everything was going on. It's like, but without allowing him to make changes to the script, really letting him to retool it because you were set on that November timeline. It's hard for me to imagine that he's just doing the best he can to just get a product out the door and not really craft what the Whedon vision of that would have been.
Agreed. That was a long rant.
Well, I was trying to get us all caught up. So that's a lot of behind the scenes. Fans did some great investigation of scenes that were in the early trailers that didn't make it into the movie, which is a thing that always happens. Mm-hmm. There's definitely some deleted scenes of Victor Stone, some more Flash with Iris West. With Iris. That just did not get included in there whatsoever. That definitely led folks to believing there's more of this that's out there. And then enter the release of Snyder Cut, which again, we're eating crow today. I'm eating crow because as that hashtag came out, I thought people would be ridiculous. Never thought it was going to see the light of day. And to be honest, I didn't think the 3-hour thing existed. I was on record as saying I don't think that thing exists. I don't think he ever made that. I don't think Whedon changed as much as you think he did. I am having to eat some partial crow on that. And now we are here where that version is going to get expanded. So it's getting expanded from that 3-hour-and-a-half cut into a 4-hour or potentially even 6-hour version.
I'm not sure if it's 6 hours. No, you covered all the bases. I'm just thinking, just how daunting a 6-hour movie is going to be, and I'm just trying to figure out what he's going to be able to add that's going to really help that story. 6 hours.
I mean, it could be closer to the 4. So we don't. The 6 hours, to be fair, those are not confirmed. So, it's just kind of some speculation on the structure of it, which may lead to it being longer. But I think that 4-hour mark is correct. So I think it is going to be a 4-hour kind of film, and it may be broken up into a part 1 and part 2, and kind of going back to the idea we said with Hateful Eight, it may be broken up like that. Which, if that makes it more digestible, I'm okay with that. So there's definitely a lot of CGI that's going to have to come back. It sounds like all the actors, the whole crew is down. So that even means Ben Affleck's going to put the cowl back on, which part of me is a little, given how he had to leave, and he's been my favorite Batman in the recent years, I am a little excited about that. It's not a knock on Matt Reeves' Batman or Robert Pattinson at all. It's just that I thought Affleck had done such a good job that I hated that the movies were so bad, and he had a lot going on in life too. So we won't jump into all that right now. But he had a lot going on too, and so for him to kind of get a redemption tour, that's probably who I'm more excited about getting a little bit of a redemption tour than Snyder. But not trying to pick, but
Yeah, I'm still a little bit embarrassed about this, and I am 100% still in belief that this should not. I don't know. I think this is a waste of time and money for everyone involved.
20 to 25 million, and as analysts have learned more about what shots are going to be happening, they've started to balloon that to their estimate is going to be around 35 million to 40 million. That's it is a healthy budget for a streaming service. So the content
that's
if it were something brand new,
that would be like half a season of an art house sci-fi TV show.
Yeah. Altered Carbon season.
That actually might be. Yeah.
Another season of The Travelers, which I would fight.
Oh.
Sorry, I just made I got excited and sad all at the same time.
Sure.
Folks, there's some really good timeline videos and some comparisons side to side of shots from the previous trailers how and timeline of development. So if you want to check those out, they're doing a much better job than I want to articulate right here. Some things I can say real quickly. Things are definitely weed in, and we'll get to this a little bit in the Justice League Revisited. Is the storyline with the Kents was different. So the whole bank foreclosure in the house was not a part of it. The Russian family that's hiding away in the fight was different. One thing you can definitely tell from the trailers is that the coloration of that final fight was way different. So it's got kind of the dark. It's kind of got some of the classic darker Snyder tones in the original trailers, and when it's clear that Whedon's starting to take over, you get that reddish hue that's over the entire fight. And the way that the mother boxes start to kind of take over the area looks completely different. So there's some things that will definitely stand out. And on top of that, we already said Flash and a Cyborg definitely had more pieces fleshed out, along with Volko and Mara with Aquaman, which those may not. I would argue those don't necessarily need to be added back in now that we have Aquaman, which does, again, regardless of what we think about it, at least his origin's out there now. So I don't know if you really need to go back and try to expand it out in Justice League. It's probably making him a little more integral. Yeah.
But maybe more Amazonians and
oh gosh,
with their abs showing or something like that.
We're gonna get to that very, very soon.
Yep.
All right, folks. We got a little bit of a schedule change. So we already shot our Wonder Woman. We're talking with the crew. We may go ahead and release that tomorrow along with this. But we're definitely recording our Justice League Revisited, and because everyone's in Justice League mode right now, we may get that out even sooner than Monday. So again, the schedule now is Monday, Wednesday, Friday with reviews. And so expect those to come out a little bit quicker than what we were originally intending. But we want people to be able to have a place where they can start to talk about this and give us your thoughts on what you think happened with the previous Justice League, and are you excited about the Snyder Cut, or have you completely moved on? And you want to just see the new DCEU films. All right. Last thing I will say is, and this relates to this cut, and even if David Ayer gets an opportunity to shoot his director's cut. This seems strategy-wise a little icky, given DCEU had decided to move on. You got Wonder Woman 1984 getting ready to come out. You got the new Suicide Squad. So the Suicide Squad, which is James Gunn's version. And again, we already talked about the new Batman. We've talked about that a couple times on the show. So ultimately, while this may be a cool version, again, remains to be seen, and a good cash grab for Warner Brothers, this doesn't really lead anywhere.
No, it's regressive, nostalgic. If that's the right term, even nostalgia, because again, there are not a lot of people that really want this, and I think in some ways it undermines the future work that the DCEU wants to do.
Yeah.
Let it go. Move on. Yeah, as Superman says in Man of Steel, Krypton had its chance. Snyder had its chance.
Dang, Tom. Dang.
Yeah. I'm using your own movie against you, Snyder.
That's pretty good. All right, folks. We definitely appreciate you tuning in today. As always, you can check us out on YouTube and Facebook, whichever video provider you prefer. And we're on every major podcast, network, including... Yeah, I'm kidding. It's not on there yet. But everything other than Apple will be on there. You can get on Spotify, Google Play, and your favorite podcast app. So thanks for joining us this week. This has been your Wednesday edition of the Commander Shipp Show. Look out for another review coming out on Friday. And again, we'll let you know when those Justice League and Wonder Woman Revisited episodes come out. All right. See you next time.